How's it going, my awesome bunch of bakers? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're making Rum Baba, so let's go to the kitchen, check it out. Rum Baba is a French dessert, consisting of an enriched bun, soaked in rum flavored syrup, and often served with whipped cream and berries. There are plenty of recipes out there for it, and this is by no means authentic, but it stays true to the principle. An extremely rich bread bun, almost like a brioche, soaked in a spiced rum syrup. It is moist, flavourful, and irresistible, and it's another great addition to the festive bread collection on this channel. Don't forget to check out the Breads of Christmas playlist after you watch this video. There's plenty of breads to choose from, and even some great last minute options. Saying that, this one doesn't even take that long to make. There are no extraordinary methods, ingredients, or equipment used in this recipe. So let's just get to it and see what we need. For the bread dough, we'll need some white bread flour, eggs, butter, yeast, salt, sugar, lemon zest, and vanilla paste. I had some orange extract left over from another recipe, so I decided to use it here. It is not required and it's not necessary, so if you don't have any of this, just leave it out or add some orange zest if you want. For the syrup, I used some water, orange juice, sugar, cloves, and some spiced rum, but you can adjust the ingredients to your taste. Use all orange juice, add the zest too. Use more rum, or perhaps another spice like cardamom. It's your baba, make it how you like it. Just keep the same sugar to liquid ratio. Okay, finally for the cream, we'll need some double cream, vanilla paste, and icing sugar. Now as for the equipment, we'll need a bowl, scales, a dough scraper, temperature probe, a fine grater for the lemon zest, a whisk, and the piping bag is not totally necessary, but it can be quite handy. I'm going to use these little Pandora molds I had from last year. The shape and size of the molds does not matter. Use what you have. The size and shape is totally up to you. In fact, I'm making two shapes. These individual cupcake cases will be perfect. A muffin tin may work even better. Okay, with all the ingredients and the equipment out of the way, we can start making our dough. And it all starts with a pre-ferment. This is a flying sponge. It is a pre-ferment that contains some of the liquid, some of the flour, and all the yeast of the recipe. Since the only real liquid in this recipe is egg, that's what we're using. First, combine the egg and the yeast, mix it well, then add the flour and mix until there's no dry flour left. Cover it up and leave it to rise for around 1 hour. You want it to triple in size. This pre-ferment will kickstart our dough. It will make it rise really good. Just for reference, I'm using room temperature ingredients for the pre-ferment, and that is 22 Celsius or 72 Fahrenheit. If your kitchen is cooler, your pre-ferment may take longer. If yours hasn't puffed up in an hour, just leave it for slightly longer. But my pre-ferment is ready, so I'm moving on to the main dough. This time I'm using cold eggs from the fridge to not warm up the dough too much. So in a large bowl, combine the eggs, salt, sugar, orange extract if you're using it, add the lemon zest and the vanilla paste, and then mix it all well. You want to dissolve the salt and sugar completely. After giving it all a good mix, add the pre-ferment. And finally, add the rest of the flour. Then grab your scraper and mix it to the dough. Mix it in the bowl until there's no more dry flour left. And if the scraper's not doing the job, continue on by hand. Now tip the dough out on the table and we can start kneading it. This dough is very sticky. The eggs make it so. So we'll use the slap and fold kneading method. Pick the dough up by one side, turn it 90 degrees, slap it against the table and pull it towards yourself, and finally fold it over forwards. And just repeat this step over and over again for 10 minutes. We want to get some gluten going in this dough before we add the butter. If we had added the butter from the get-go, this would be a disaster. So for this particular recipe, here's how you want to do it. Knead the dough for 10 minutes, then stretch it out on the table and add the softened butter. Then fold the dough around it to seal it in and squish it all together. There's no nice way of doing this. Brute force is the way. Just squish it and squeeze it until it's all combined. And about half a minute later, you can scrape it all up again and then continue kneading using the slap and fold method, just as you were earlier. Keep kneading the dough for 5 more minutes after adding the butter. And yes, there is 15 minutes of total kneading time. Seems quite long, but it's not too bad considering that this is basically a brioche dough. It will still be slightly sticky once it's done. That's normal. Let's pop it in a bowl and take its temperature. Around 25 to 26 degrees Celsius, what you should be aiming for. That is 77 to 79 Fahrenheit. Cover it up and leave it to ferment for 1 hour. Of course, if your dough is warmer, it will ferment more rapidly. If it's cooler, it will take longer. Adjust the proofing times accordingly. Halfway through bulk fermentation, we'll give this dough a fold. Dust it with flour, tip it out on the table with the smooth side down. Now fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach the point where you started. Then flip it smooth side up again and tighten it against the table. This dough is very loose and stretchy. Folding it like this makes it nice and tight. That'll help our buns keep their shape. And it will also make it easier to work with. Okay, after the fold is done, place the dough back into the bowl with the smooth side up, cover it and leave it to ferment for 1 more hour. and now it should really start puffing up. After the second rise, it should be doubled in size. And if yours isn't, just leave it for longer. But if it's ready, it is time to prep the molds. Brush them lightly with some oil or some melted butter. And I do mean lightly. If you use too much oil or butter, you'll start pooling in the bottom of the tin. Okay, once your molds are perfectly brushed, it's time to dust them with flour. And there's not much to it. Throw a handful of flour into the mold and shake it around until the whole surface is coated. Then throw any excess flour into the next mold and continue. And it's a good idea to place them all on a tray so you don't make a mess on your table. And after you're done, you can turn them all upside down and bash the tray against the table to shake off any excess flour. Okay, let's get these out of the way and start dividing our dough. The size and shape of your molds will determine how many pieces you will make. To measure it correctly, take a piece of dough and place it into the mold. It should not fill more than 1/3 of it. Then weigh that piece of dough and then divide the rest of the dough into pieces of the same weight. I ended up with 12 pieces weighing around 55 grams each. Okay, after dividing, we need to shape them into round balls. And it's exactly the same as the fold that we performed earlier. Flatten the dough, fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle to reach the point where you started, flip it smooth side up, tighten it against the table, and that's your dough ball done. You can find a detailed video about this in Steps of Baking playlist. Here's a little trick I like to use sometimes, but I can't tell you how it works. It's a secret. Okay, there's no secret. I just have the magic hands. Okay, let's get these bad boys out of the way and get them in their molds. You want to place them in so the smooth side is pointing up. If you place them upside down, the fold will unravel and won't look good. This will be the presentation side, and the presentation side always points up. Okay, they are ready for the final proof. Cover them, leave them to rise for around an hour and a half. Of course, this time will depend on the temperature of your kitchen. At this point, my kitchen was around 23 degrees Celsius or 74 degrees Fahrenheit. During the final hour of fermentation, preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius, fan on, and that is 320 degrees Fahrenheit. And just look at them, they have puffed up beautifully. We want them to be slightly more than doubled in size, and if yours haven't risen, you know what to do. But mine are looking good, so I'll get these bad boys in the oven. And even though they are quite small, they will take around 25 minutes of baking. And here's what I mean about not overfilling your molds. They more than doubled during final fermentation, and then they doubled again during baking. And don't they look nice? And do not skip the prepping step for the molds. The dough will stick. You want to avoid disappointment. You want them to come out nice and clean, just like this. Now leave them on the rack to cool down completely. You can even make these a whole day ahead of time. It doesn't matter if they dry out. If anything, they will soak up more syrup. Okay, with the buns cooling, let's get the whipped cream out of the way. In a large bowl, combine the icing sugar, the vanilla paste, and the double cream. Then whisk it all until it's nice and thick. If you have a mixer, you should definitely use it. This is not a fun job to do by hand. It takes at least 3 to 4 minutes of vigorous hand whisking. This is how it should look when it's done. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the piping bag is not totally necessary, but it's quite handy. You can simply spoon the cream onto the buns. Right, we can leave this in the fridge for later. Let's move on to making the syrup. Take a cooking pan, combine the water, the orange juice, the cloves, the rum, and the sugar. Then place it on the stove and bring it up to a boil. Now some recipes suggest adding the rum after cooking the syrup. You can do that if you want to. It just means that your syrup will be more alcoholic. I personally don't want to get drunk eating my dessert, I just want the taste of rum. So if the alcohol evaporates a bit here, I don't really care, to be honest. Once your syrup has come up to the boil, take it off the heat and pour it into a heat-proof bowl to cool down. At the moment it is way too hot for dipping our buns in, so we'll leave it to cool down for around 10 minutes. Check the temperature occasionally, bring it down to around 50 degrees Celsius. See, it's still a little bit too hot for me, so I left it slightly longer. And there we go, that's better. Now we can start dipping our buns. Use a rack and a tray for draining. This is in my opinion the best way of doing it. Take a few buns, drop them in the syrup, and first roll them around. Make sure that the crust absorbs the liquid, becomes nice and soft. Once the crust has softened, you can press the buns against the bowl to squeeze out most of the air. Then as you release them, they will spring back into shape, but instead of just blowing up with air, they will suck up some of the syrup. I hope that made sense. Finally, drench them in the excess syrup. Don't let it go to waste. But of course, how much you soak your baba is up to you. If you want them slightly drier, don't soak them for so long. And don't press them too much. As you can see, my ones came out quite juicy. Saying that, of course the outside will be wetter than the inside. Although the syrup did permeate right through. The texture is unbelievable. I had never tried these before. And I definitely regret not doing it sooner. It is such a unique bread. or cake, if you want to call it that. I personally think if there is gluten development, then it's bread. But of course it doesn't matter anyway, because most importantly, this is an ultimate dessert, and it's perfectly suited for the festive season, with all the citrus flavors, the cloves, and the booze of course. Now all you need to do is go and make yours. But don't forget to check out more videos in the Breads of Christmas playlist. So what do you think this recipe, and what's your favorite boozy dessert? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this one, click over here. Subscribe to the channel, click right here. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.